Devlog 5, February 20th, 2026. Oh yeah, I got a working battle loop going. Let's go, baby. So I've made it so that, at least for basic attacks, um, the player and all animals with the player are able to attack enemies, and enemies are able to attack the player. So, before I start the game, let's show who the combatants are. There's the player. There's the snake. The snake is an enemy. And then there's another stats unit that I created for temporary purposes. This is the wolf, and it's a friend of the player because it's not an enemy. So the wolf has 10 health, 2 attack, lots of speed. Snake has 8 health, 3 speed, 4 MP. And yeah, so now if I play the game, right now this doesn't really do much, the screen. I'm trying to decouple the simulation of the game from the visuals of the game. So right now all of this is just command line visual, like command line simulation. So I'll be controlling the game through the screen, but with keyboard inputs. Like, for example, you'll notice down here it says battle start. It sorted the units by speed, and then it populated the abilities queue. Well, now when I go into the game and I press space, it will move on to the next step in the battle, which is the wolf's turn, because the wolf has the highest speed. We populate the abilities queue for the wolf, and then the wolf attacks the snake. And the snake receives 2 damage. I made a shortcut so that you can see the stats at any time. So the snake stats, it's 6 out of 8, because it received 2 damage from the wolf, because the wolf has 2 attack. Now let's continue. Alright, the wolf ends its turn. The snake starts its turn. The snake attacks the player. Now, the interesting thing about how each animal decides who to attack, it's determined by this target rule. So there are a bunch of different target rules. Like, for example, target all allies or all enemies. This could be like a fire sweeping breath, or this could be like a healing aura or something like that. I just have them all set to target random enemy right now. So the snake, I've seen this happen where the snake can target the wolf or the player. But it's really cool that just by changing which resource I'm using, the snake changes its behavior. That's much better than like going into the code and saying, oh, snake's behavior is such and such. Because, well, Godot is meant to be more of a visual, how do I say this? Like, visual scripting language. So, like, whenever you want to create new targeting rules, you can just put a new one in here. Anyway, so getting back to it, the snake attacked the player. Snake ends its turn. The player starts its turn. Snake receives 1 damage. Okay, and this will go on until either all of the enemies are defeated, which is going to be the case since the player and the wolf have more attack and health than the snake, or until the player dies. So let's keep on going. Yep, there it is. Enemies vanquished. The snake received 2 damage, and if we look at the stats, the snake's HP is at 0. So we've reached a ending point. I'm spamming the spacebar, and nothing is happening. Cool. So what have I learned through this process? I've learned here. Let's look at the code real quickly. I've learned that queues are awesome. I love queues. They're very easy for managing the game state, whose turn it is, what ability goes next, etc. resources should be either wholly dedicated to storing data, like for example in the stats. What's a good one? In stats is wholly dedicated to storing data. There are a couple of functions here for just putting to strings, and then if you want to, you can have a resource that is like lightly has light amount of data, but mostly is just used for a single function. Yeah, and then you can make that function applicable across all of the different resources. So like each of these different effects has the apply function with the same parameters. Separating this out this way allows you to it allows me to better segment the code for being like, some parts of the code are just storage and some parts of the code are more like some storage but mostly about the function that it brings. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working on putting in effects. Like right now I'm just doing basic damage, which is still an effect, funny enough. We just create a damage effect and then apply that to the enemy unit. But the status effects are where, you know, the game flourishes. It's where it becomes interesting and you can have cool combos. Alright, that's the status update for today. Thank you for tuning in, and stick around for the next devlog.